Greetings, and thanks for joining us again for another bi-weekly update. My name is Carlos Salinas, and I'm the Regional Director for the U.S. Soybean Export Council in the Americas. A pleasure to have you with us. This presentation is designed for USEC's internal purposes and for USEC's key customers. We hope that you find it of value. Before we get started, and as we always do, we'd like to share our diverse membership. Within this membership, we have soybean processors, soybean exporters, seed companies, equipment manufacturers, railroads, surveyors, brokers, among many other important stakeholders and funding sources. And we can never forget the support and financial contribution that we receive from the U.S. soybean farmer. Without that support, this presentation would not be possible. We have a very brief agenda today. We're going to talk about Brazilian weather. We'll analyze the seasonality of soybean meal prices, and we'll delve into the soybean prices and the impact these have on them in the U.S. and in Brazil. So let's talk about weather. I think 2 weeks ago, I shared this slide with you, highlighting the precipitation anomalies in millimeters from October 11th through November 9th. Now, if you can see on this same chart on the right, we have the precipitation anomalies from November 11th through November 25th. And as you can tell, the situation has not necessarily improved. If anything, it has deteriorated further. You can see that in this part as well, we have excess amount of moisture between the state of Santa Catarina and Rio Grande do Sul in Brazil. As I was reading different documents over the weekend, I came across a report by Globo Rural in Brazil, very well-known magazine, and on their digital platform, they highlight an estimate by a company called Patria Agronegocios, where they say that soybean planting has experienced abrupt deceleration with fieldwork close to 75% as of Friday. On a 5-year average, they expect that fieldwork should be close to 87%. So this is obviously concerning. And they also highlight that due to the lack of rain in the northeast and north of Brazil and the excess moisture in the south, the pace of planting obviously continues to delay. Some states are obviously doing okay, and some of those other states you must be significantly behind. I think for the same reason, our friends at Oil World, I think one of the best known analysts that we have in our industry, non-biased, they don't hold positions. They report data and facts, and they have stepped up and taken their soybean production estimate in Brazil down by 8 million metric tons. Now they are calling the soybean crop in Brazil 152 million metric tons, and they no longer discount the possibility that on discontinued weather, that crop could even be as low as 145 to 150 million metric tons, which obviously the market is not pricing today. Overall, I think we cannot discount that certainly we have a reduction in Brazil, but we also have a fairly high increase in production estimates for Argentina at 47 million metric tons compared to close to 22 last year. So that certainly offsets a lot of things. Overall, the stocks to use ratio is at 27.2%. That is the amount of inventory that we have at the end of the year in relationship to demand. So we can say we are still on the projections. Again, I repeat, on the projections, we are a lot more comfortable than we were last year, but certainly another drop on production in South America by 8 or 9 million metric tons puts us in a similar stocks to use ratio that we were last year. So again, important to keep in mind. When I look at soybean meal prices, and after this couple of weeks, I wanted to see what history can show us moving forward, or basically what soybean meal prices have done between now and over the next 60 days. So I took the liberty to normalize the price of soybeans over the past 10 years at 100% and take a look at that evolution, that percentage change over time. And what we can see in this chart, again, normalizing it at 100% as of November 27th, and taking a look at that price evolution all the way through January 31st, we can see that 60% of the time, soybean meal prices have increased. And we have 1 year that prices actually 18-19 remain unchanged. But we know that during this time window, prices have only gone down 30% of the time. And what I find interesting more than really this percentage, only 30% of the price of soybean meal going down, I find it that when prices go down, on the extreme over the past 10 years, we've gone down maybe by 6%. But on the high side extreme, when they go up, we've gone up by almost 23%, which is significant. There's no question that from a seasonality perspective, when we take a look at soybean meal prices, March soybean meal prices today at $421.50. Over the past 10 years, we are at historically high values. But as you can see on this lines moving forward, we do have the capacity to certainly continue to increase those prices when we compare this over the past 10 years. Again, these are some analysis and tools that you should use in combination with many other tools and with the help of your risk management team. And if you don't have one, let us know. We can get you the help of many of our membership that is deeply involved and has a much better analysis than this to work with you. Another component that I always like to analyze is soybean prices in US dollars, which is reported obviously in Chicago, but I like to compare that to soybean prices in reais, that is converting the price in Chicago to reais per bushel. And I like to do that comparison because I think that the prices that the Brazilian farmer receives compared to the prices that the U.S. farmer receives are different, and they're impacted by the currency. So the chart I'm going to share with you, again, I normalize the prices basically as of January 1st of 2023. And then in this blue line, you can see that we start at 100 and today we're at 95, meaning that the U.S. farmer is receiving 5% less in terms of futures, 5% less of the prices. But when we take a look at the Brazilian farmer and we take those March futures and we convert them to reais, because of the fluctuations on the currency, in local currency, they're actually receiving 15% less. Obviously, this may have implications on their tendency of selling. This may have implications on what their costs actually are. So unless there's a significant change, or if we see a stronger real moving forward or lower prices, I think the tendency from the Brazilian farmers to sell the propensity is gonna likely decrease. So again, it's something to keep in mind. We're obviously in a window where we're beginning to shift from South American supplies to U.S. supplies. So I always like to monitor prices in both origins because that tells us a bit about farmer selling. I hope the information shared was valuable. I apologize, it was very brief and not in much detail, but it's been a busy week from a social perspective, which is good. A lot of family activities, which is great to have. But we hope in the next couple of weeks we can give you a deeper analysis. I hope you have an enjoyable week. Wish you the best and look forward to talking to you in a couple of weeks. Take care.